Evening, boys and girls. Happy Saturday. It's 3 points for the Arsenal against the Saints. In the end, it was us who went marching in. Here we go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to a Saturday post-game and player rating live edition of the Highbury Squad. Welcoming back my boy, Mr. James LL Cool James 91 Johnstone.
Hello. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. I'm in a good mood, so I'll join in with it this time.
James looks like he just took like 2 trains from the Emirates to get home.
I have.
And you have. You were at the game, and we're going to get all of your thoughts. I love hearing the perspective and kind of what you saw. In the meantime, just a couple of housekeeping issues, you guys. Not housekeeping, but I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who watches this show. We did surpass the 9,000 subscribers on YouTube last night, and just wanted to say that you guys are the reason this show is possible. And we thank each and every one of you and all the new people who have joined us. We hope you're enjoying our content, and there's going to be a lot more good stuff to come. So absolutely brilliant. And by the way, Jags won the Dennis Bergkamp framed shirt.
You're gonna be investigated eventually. It's honestly, they're gonna think they're gonna stop buying their tickets because they just know before.
I got a message from Jags last night. He goes, "Soph, I'm back to winning ways," and in my mind, I'm like, I hope the Arsenal will be too.
Yeah.
So Jags won. So there you go. There'll be another opportunity for you guys to win next week. By the way, James, when Kev is here, I lose all my manners. Good evening, squaddies. As Super Kev would say, at ease. Boom. Matty K, I'm not joking. Serious. Like I said, if I'm on a flight, I want to sit next to Jags just in case.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Oh, it's not. It really isn't. I just think he buys a lot of tickets, but it's amazing. The dude is so lucky, and he's a beautiful human being. He donated his aubameyang signed. He must have known what was coming. We're going to get to that. Good evening to all the usual suspects.
You know what? You're talking about flying there. Dennis Bergkamp would fly on a plane if he had a seat next
with
to
Jags.
Yeah, exactly.
How many Champions Leagues would we have won if Jags was flying with Dennis Bergkamp? Exactly. Good evening to all the squaddies, the OGs, the new people, everyone in the house. Thank you so much for joining us this fine Saturday evening. Okay, James, here's what I've got for you. 15 shots for the Arsenal, 11 for Southampton, 5 on target for us, 6 for them, 62% possession for the Gunners, 507 passes tonight for the Gunners, 80% pass accuracy. We gave away 5 fouls compared to their 9. 2 yellow cards for us, 0 for them. 0 red cards, of course. 3 offsides for us, 1 for them. We had 9 corners and they had 8. The first 20 minutes was very dodgy. Very dodgy. So before you get started, I'm going to play our video from Super Kev as well, and then we can get stuck into what you saw at the match, being at the Emirates as well. Here we go.
Hi, Soph and squaddies. Arsenal 3, Southampton 0. I didn't get to see the game, but I saw some highlights, and obviously it's a convincing win for us. We needed that win. We needed the 3 points. It was all important. Believe it was quite patchy at times. Done okay at times. The first goal was a good goal, and Odegaard scored again, and Gabriel scored a great header. So look, we take the 3 points. It's about the 3 points, getting back on track, pushing to challenge for that top 4, and that's what we've done. I know there's going to be plenty of chat about aubameyang, etc. Doesn't look good. It's not a great look at all. Club captain in breach of discipline again. Not good. So this could be the end. Obviously, with January just coming up, some decisions might have to be made, of course. But nobody's bigger than the club, guys. You know that. Nobody's bigger than Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal Football Club will be here long before a lot of these players are gone. So great to see the club win. Great to see 3 points on the board. And we take it. I'm sure there's going to be some of you that moan. I'm sure there is. But you know what? Clean sheet, like I said, fantastic. Get back to winning ways, Gooners. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to enjoy it. Sorry I can't be with you, but I'm working. So look after yourself. Take good care, everybody. And come on, you Gunners. And Squaddies, you know what's next. Brock up and hit the like button. Brock it, mash it, knot it. Do a Vinny. And at ease once you've done it.
Cracks me up when I get those messages.
That was like the one last night. I was sat there watching the one last night, and right at the end, went, come on! I'm like, whoa!
Just for Super Kev, I tell you, he wakes me up every morning. I get these messages of pure energy. They're absolutely brilliant. Galispera to whoever wished me Galispera, by the way. Kill the like button. Yes, get it. Absolutely brilliant. Right, James, Super Kev, rightly so. Should we start real quick and talk about Aubameyang, or do you want to save that to the end? Should we focus on the fact that we got 3 points and we won the game? Should we save the captain stuff to the end? You tell me. You're the guest. You get to pick.
Should we do the positive before the negative?
Let's do that. Okay, perfect. All right, first 20 minutes, James. What was going on?
You could feel it in there. I mean, it's a bit of a soulless bow anyway, let's be brutally honest.
Lots of empty seats, James.
Yeah. And there was a lot of, even at 2, when we were 2-0 up, all the Southampton fans, you could hear them where they're like, you're 2-0 up and you still don't sing, 2-0 up and you still don't sing. There's a bit, I think it takes stuff to actually happen to get up, instead of actually trying to will us on like that, we have to be, have something to react to instead of just naturally just reacting. But yeah, it was cagey. And, you're thinking, I predicted 1-1 before the game. I got that completely wrong. I know someone put a comment in there and said, what's your argument after you predicted the 1-1? I'll have to freely admit, I went in it with very, very little optimism. And I was pleasantly surprised. I know a lot of people are saying, they had a 40-year-old keeper that's not played all season. They're down in their dumps. Their striker got taken off and everything else. But there were times there where we made them look bad. Not that they're just bad in general. We did stuff out there today that was good enough to make them look as bad as they did. I mean, they've got that Livramento at right back, who I think he's on loan from Chelsea. I think he's a good player. Mm-hmm. And he's very good going that way, but he's not going good the other way. And I think we exploited that. And just, I've said that we're trying to create these quantitative or qualitative overloads out wide. And sometimes it goes terribly wrong. And then it goes all the way back round again. And we try it again. I called it the unmagic round. I said to you, I look a bit like Dougal. The unmagic roundabout's going round. And today it come off. And, I'm not going to get overly carried away because the real test is going to be Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But, someone's put it there. We settled down, scored a fantastic first goal and took it to them. Yeah, 100% Richard. 100% agree with what Richard said.
So what I like is that it was so poor. I was starting to be filled with a little bit of dread, right? And the passing was off. Gabriel getting the yellow card within like the first 5 minutes was so not like him either. Silly. Silly. It felt like, oh my gosh, is it going to be one of those days? But credit to whatever the team. And really the turn was when the first goal happened. because Ramsdale got in a bit of a pickle at the back there, but he was able to get himself out of it, James. And dare I say, was that goal a little vintage Arsenal? I mean, it started right from the back, and there were quick passes too. This is what I loved more about today, was that we played much quicker after we played so poorly in that first 20 minutes. It was Ramsdale, and you had 5 or 6 players involved, and the finish from Lacazette was absolutely just gold. It was perfection. Talk me through being in the stadium at that point when Ramsdale looked like maybe he made a faux pas, and then boom, before you know it, was scoring a vintage Arsenal goal. For me, our best goal, our best team goal without question this season.
Yeah. I mean, there was, like I said, there was a lot of it where it was going around the houses, and then you're just like, can we just up it? And yeah, Ramsdale got it out, and then it was just brilliant from all of them that went through. I mean, Tomiyasu lays it on, and again, you know, you're relying on an individual brilliance from one of these kids that plays on the wings. You're either going to get it from Martinelli or you're going to get it from Saka. Saka done his business, got it in there, and Lacazette, I keep saying it, you know, we've had it where he was playing as like in that number 10 role when they were all, and him and Smith Rowe kept swapping, him and Smith Rowe, Aubameyang all kept swapping around. This guy's lethal in the box. You just get him in the box. Don't get it, you know, when you've got the forward runners and then they look to the side and Lacazette's right next. No, you get in the box, because that's where you can do your business. You know, I'm from Essex, right? Women in Essex, women in Essex go on these little hun brunches, as I like to call them, where they're like, oh yeah, I've got my woo-woos, I've got my Prosecco, but you see them, they're lagging.
Like at Sheesh, whatever that restaurant's called.
Anywhere. But they're absolutely lagging during the night. The music's on and they're lagging. But all of a sudden, they hear that first, oh, sometimes when I go out, bam, and they go, zoom, they shoot, they come into, that's Lacazette. Lacazette's like, oh, but his song comes on, I'm up. I'm in there. That is Lacazette in a nutshell. That is him. That is
absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I guess he wasn't hearing the tune where he,
exactly,
you know, got one-on-one and missed a really good opportunity honestly, today. I'm always happy to be wrong. I said 2-2, and I was completely wrong. I'm not sure if I should be putting this stuff up. Women in Essex are car mechanics. I don't know what that means. Is that anyway? I love Essex. Some of my best friends are from Essex. So
my mum's from Sussex, so I won't take it as an insult.
Oh, well, that's very posh. You know.
Yeah, she's not.
All right, why don't we start going through the squad, which will then open up the door to a little bit more discussion, James. And by the way, everybody, what I loved at the end of the game is there's nothing sweeter than hearing the Arsenal winning. I'm not getting carried away, by the way, guys. You'll get to hear a little bit more about what I think. I'm not getting carried away. But at the end, when everyone's singing and standing up singing, if you hate Tottenham, hit the like button. That's all we have for you this evening. All right, let's go through the squad. Let's get to the tippy top of the Arsenal mountain, and that is our goalkeeper, James.
I haven't seen the guy live. The only other game I've been to this season was the Chelsea game. This guy's top. I'm so glad I got it wrong. This guy's top. Just top class. The bit with Martinelli near the end of the first half, he put his head in his hands thinking, I've got an assist. You know, Ozil could never. He pinged that ball into him. It was absolute class. And distribution, again, he saved us a couple of times. There was the one in the first half when they had a little bit at the beginning. He made a good little save. I think it was from Armstrong. Just top for me. And just a nice solid 8.
You know, sometimes when we talk about when players we're comparing, we're not comparing because they're like-minded talent just yet. Ramsdale, of course, is a long way to go to be Edison, but this is what made Manchester City so great, James. I'm not over-exaggerating it, right? I mean, Edison's passing ability, the difference that he made when he came into that City team, the way they were able to break so quickly. I think it's so important, and we've seen what we've lacked when we haven't had that, and we never really did when Bernd Leno was in goal, and he's like having a 12th man on the pitch. His passing is so on.
Do you know what he does? Exactly what everybody previously told me Granit Xhaka does. It's like he's playing as that deep line playmaker, and he's in goal.
Yeah, so, amazing stuff. I will also give him. What did you give him?
I gave him an 8.
I'll give him an 8.5. I think some of his saves in the second half were fantastic. A couple of, rudimentary saves for him. But my goodness, when we scored 2, seeing him slide on his knees, I love that. That's what I love.
After the game, he ran straight into the crowd to give this kid a shirt as well.
That's lovely.
He's really taken the club to heart from the off. I think he's just so happy he's here, which is good to see.
Definitely. He's getting lots of 9s and 8s and lots of love from everyone in the chat as well. He's just a really special player and someone who really is a team player, inspires his teammates, does and says all the right things. You know what? Ordinarily, Archangel, I would say absolutely no to giving a goalkeeper an armband, because I want our captain to have an influence in the middle of the pitch. Which is why I would, or at the back, which is why I would lead more towards a Gabriel. I have a feeling the captain's armband might swing back to Xhaka. I said that out loud, but we can talk about that a bit later. Okay, James, let's go on to one of your favorite new players, Mr. Tommy.
Again, haven't seen this guy in the flesh. The Emperor. Just what an absolutely brilliant player. I think he did lose. I think he had 9 aerials and he only won 4 of them, so he lost a couple. But the guy's just tenacious. He just battles for absolutely everything. And people do say he doesn't overlap. Well, he's instructed not to overlap. But I'm telling you, I think he's got it in his locker. And another thing I'll mention, I don't know who Bologna's right back is, but he's got to be the best in the world. Because if they can sell him, their other right back that they've got out there, they must have one of the best right backs I've ever seen, because if they can sell him and be all right, then I don't know. Honestly,
it's just you know what he is, James. In a time and in a period where we've had inconsistency and inconsistent players. I like your rating, by the way, Sam. I'll try and do the maths. Tommy Cafu it's definitely caught on. He's just, I use this example when I see a player who just does his job. Bill Belichick, New England Patriots, how many Super Bowl rings? The mantra to all of the players is just do your job. And if every player just did their job, John, correct, someone just put it in chat, he's stable. Jean Rene, he's stable. And also he's fearless. And he's very strong on the ball, very strong off the ball when he's moving it. And his endurance is insane. I mean, did you see him stop running out there? I don't think so.
No, he's, like I said, the Emperor. He's just so good.
Yeah.
So good. It was, to not get carried away, it was nice just to see these players, not on a TV screen and everything else, and just watch them at work. Like, I'm 30, but if you're young and you want to be a fullback and everything else, if you watched him today, then just take that as the model, because honestly, it's top class.
Yeah, and like Joseph says, he was a huge part of the first goal. His initial pass was what got things rolling. Okay, Tommy gets the thumbs up from everyone. He is consistent. He's Mr. Reliable. He's Mr. Reliable.
Oh, sorry, as well, that the cross that he made for the second goal. Mm-hmm. I know Tierney fluffed the shot, but what a ball in as well.
He fluffed it twice. Tierney. But you called Tierney being the boy for the game today, James. Good call on the show. Yes, on the show a couple nights ago. Okay, we'll go to Mr. Ben White.
Yeah, Ben White for me. This is one thing that, if other people were there and they watched it and they're in the chat, let me know. But I don't think this guy can play with Xhaka. I don't think you can play them two together. I know they got a clean sheet. Why? Because they both want so much time on the ball to do the same thing.
But who's better with the ball?
Ben White for me. Sophie, at the beginning of this podcast, you do a brilliant voiceover. I haven't got a voice like your voice, right? But when Granit Xhaka is on the ball, and he can only turn left anyway, he's got the turning circle of an oil tanker. But you literally want to have over the PA, do, 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 and you going, Granit Xhaka is reversing. Granit, with your voice. He's too slow. He's too...
The white courtesy phone.
Yeah. Granit Xhaka's so... You can't... For me, them two are going to get absolutely battered if we carry on with both of them.
This is why I always feel like Benjamin can play in midfield. I feel like if there's, God forbid, an injury or a situation, there's something about him with his composure on the ball, James, that I feel like he can be a midfielder. He's got a great pass in him. He's got a sprawling pass. I'm not going to say it's Alonso-esque, but he's really good on the ball.
He hit a few today. Like, fair play. The guy hit a few today. But Granit Xhaka, and I said it about the Everton game, right? I've not seen Ben White get vocal and angry. But in that Everton game, he was going to Partey and to Thomas Partey and to Xhaka. Just get out my way, like move out my way. Because where he's deep and wants to, that's exactly what Xhaka wants to do and where he wants to be. And it has to run through one of, unfortunately, the way we play, it has to normally run through one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can work. Honestly, I don't think they can work together at all.
So do you think that he didn't have as good a game today because of that versus just being off in general? I mean, there's a few kind of mixed feelings here about he can't defend, both a special, he's nothing special. He's slow at times. All these, he did well, read the game. Little Soph thinks it wasn't his best game. I mean, for me, I didn't feel like he did anything glaringly bad today. I just thought he was neat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there were a few times where they chopped him up on his side, but a lot of teams are doing that now because they've seen that, he's not that tough defensively. You can get at him if you want to go for him. And but no, he wasn't terrible. It's just he can't get, for me, he can't get a higher number because he isn't allowed to do the game that is his game pretty much because you got Granit Xhaka in the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I'm looking forward to, he has played in midfield for Brighton as well. And a few people have said they could see him being a CDM. Some people don't think he can because of the press. But, again, we've seen players transition. A lot of people want to see Nuno play ahead of Kieran, and at least now we've got a bit of a headache with some options as well. Right, let's get to our next guy. This guy, my guy, Gabriel. You started off absolutely rancid. I thought you were going to get sent off today. I thought the bad writing was on the bad Arsenal wall. And once again, comes good, gets a goal. And I don't know if his partner's pregnant or what that was about. But if you are pregnant and you're going to be a dad, kudos and congratulations to you, James. Gabriel, for me, just grows and grows in stature. And even in times where we're having bad games, is someone that you can rely on. What's your take? What did you see from him? Give me the lowdown being in the stadium. Was he bellowing? Is he a talker? What did you see?
So mainly in terms of that back line, the two talkers are actually the fullbacks more so than Gabriel is. That's what I saw anyway. But yeah, he's a really, really good player. And do you know what? I was panicking because, like you said, I thought, oh no, because I thought he had a torrid time against Richarlison. And when he got booked that quick, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a bad day for you.
They were also exposed. The midfield was garbage against Everton, so our back line was so open and exposed. Right, go on, mate.
But no, he's class. I mean, you mentioned it earlier that you think the armband might be going back that way. I think it probably is going to stay on Lacazette because we're going to keep him through. But if Lacazette doesn't want it, then that guy's who I'm giving it to. I know a lot of people say Tierney, but if Tierney, is going to be in and out, Gabriel for me, unless he's injured, he's always in. I know he got subbed, but that was because he was on a booking, and I think he's already had a couple this season. If he gets one more, I think he exceeds his number. So he brought Rob Holding on just to protect that, which was totally fine. You know, a few people turned to me and were like, "Oh, is that an injury? Is that?" I was like, "No. It's got to be because he's on a booking, and I think he's, you know,
yeah." Yeah.
We were 3-0 up at the time as well. So
I thought it was a smart substitution, to be honest with you. We'll get to the gaffer in a little bit, but when you're on a yellow, why take any risks whatsoever? He had a great game in the end, and it was the right move as well. And apparently, yes, he is going to be a dad. It's official. It's on Instagram. So to Gabriel and his partner, congratulations. I love Lacazette looked like he didn't know about it. His face was just gold, wasn't it? It was absolutely brilliant.
If the kid has his teeth, they're going to be a very beautiful kid.
Do you know
but he probably paid for those teeth, so we'll just leave it at
you know, the other thing too, James, is what I liked was he started off, this is what I like when you see transition in games, not game to game, but also in games. He started off, he had a yellow. For a defender, that's a terrible situation to be in, to get a yellow within the first 5 minutes of the game. But he adapted. He calmed himself. Like, it shows you his football brain and his smarts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that he's able to just crank it down a notch, understanding how important it was for us to bounce back and get three points against, let's be honest, for me, one of the worst teams we've played so far this season. I was happy to see him calm it and move on. I thought that was really important.
And he's got a big game on Wednesday. You know, he's got Antonio and potentially Bowen cutting in on him as well. So, yeah, he's got a big game.
We'll get to that. 560 of you in live chat joining us this fine Saturday evening or afternoon or morning, wherever in the world you might be. Thank you so much for hanging out. We are so appreciative of that. We move on to your boy.
Yeah.
Go on, James. Go on.
1 sec. Shall I properly go for it? Whip these boys out. Hey. No, I'm only playing. I said that guy's got your end product, and he could have 2-3 bites of the cherry, and he still gets his crossing. Top man. And like you said, you want, you know, who's the vocal one? That guy's barking at all of them anyway, all the time. Solid. I forgot to give my Gabriel score. Gabriel 7, Tierney as well. Solid.
Me too.
Solid
Gabriel
7.
Gets an 8, and Tierney gets an 8 for me too. And remember, guys, we're only going by the post game and play ratings on the opposition. This isn't us getting super elevated or excited about we're going to do this and we're going to do that. This was a game we had to win, and these player ratings are based on who we faced in front of us today. Nothing more, nothing less. But it's really good to see Kieran back out there, isn't it? I mean, It really is. He's so important for our team. And I think because Nuno did so well, James, it's a little bit forgotten as to how much of a cult hero and how much Kieran Tierney also helped elevate the team, especially being probably one of the more experienced players, not older players, but more experienced players who came in and helped the Sackers and the Mill Smith Rose and the Martinellis of the world.
Yeah. No, he's a really, really important player, and I was impressed. I was really impressed. It's like you said, it's really good to have him back. I mean,
two games,
and this isn't me digging Tavares out. Tavares, you know, done a great job when he was out, and it showed. Okay, now we've got someone there that if worst comes to worst with Tierney, it's not the end of the world because we've got someone else there that can fill in. And that's what you want. You want at least 2 that are decent in every single position, if you can get it. That's what we used to have before in the old days. That's what we want to have now. And it was just top. Yeah, I mean,
very nice.
2 in 2. That's what you want. Consistency.
Absolutely.
Consistency is key. If Mike was here, I'd have him smack his little bell with it.
and also, by the way, you know, coming in after someone who's deputized for you has done a good job. Yes, they've made some mistakes, but also people are questioning a lot of stuff. I think, you know, KT just shows again that in moments where you need results, experience really does matter. And even though he still is still young considering our team, he's also an elder statesman, if you like. So Yes. Also, Tammy, tell him only 157 likes, 580 in chat. Come on. If you hate Tottenham, hit the like button. Caress it, kiss it, cuddle it, smash it, nut it, as Super Kevin Campbell would say. All right, next up, Super James, is... I'm going to go here.
6. He was better, but not at the level that we know he's going to get to. And he had another one of his air shots as well near the end, and we all just had a laugh about it. You know, everyone was screaming shoot, and I'm like, well, that ball's going to end up in someone's garden. But there you go. Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a new planet discovered in space, and they're going to call it Partey. That's what the new planet is going to be called. And instead of like,
and it's going to have all the footballs that he's in.
All the footballs.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm sorry. Once again, I thought there were moments where he had some good touches. I think he's weak sauce. Now, I don't know if you saw this in the game at the time, James. I don't know who barged him off the ball, but it was in the second half, and he just got barged off the ball like he was me. You know, it was such weak sauce. He's just not strong enough. Thank you, LT. He looks weak. He got barged off the ball left, right, and center. And this whole, and I understand like the taking the shots, but at some point, come on, man, like just stop the madness.
Someone's got to have a word.
Exactly. I just, dare I say, did Xhaka have a better game than Partey?
God, no.
No?
God, no.
Okay. All right. What's your mark for Partey then?
Yeah, 6.
6. He
was better than what he has been, but when you've seen what he can do, you just you know that that's not the requisite level for that guy.
He did get better in the second half. He did. But we need him to boss a game like this. Be the Don, be the boss. Like, just orchestrate it, you know? I want him to be that guy. And he's not that guy just yet. And, you know, I know that a lot of people agree that our midfield somehow, some way is still an issue, which is why I think Sambi deserves a little bit more. So, okay, 100%. We move on to this guy. I'm just going to let you take it away. Then you have strong feelings about this today.
4. Honestly, he's too slow. He's just too slow. For the manager wants us to be a possession side, right? In the vein of Manchester City. We are actually better when we just go for speed and go on the counter. Just literally just play. Let's not try and dominate and everything. Let's just go, and whatever happens. A bit more spontaneous is the word I was looking for. But he was absolutely dreadful. And I tell you what as well, he hasn't been dropped, I believe, since Man United away last season. That's the only time I can recall. If anyone else in the chat knows, tell me. Man United away was the only time he was dropped. You know, when El Neni and Partey played, and they were both brilliant in that last season's game away at Man United. There were times, Sophie, where he was getting the ball, and he thinks he's peak Overmars, Perez, and Sanchez, and he's trying to. I'm like, you've never beat a player in your life, mate. You've never run past play. But because he knows he's not going to get dropped, he's like, I'm gonna have a go here. I fancy myself a bit. No. Do what you do, which is give the ball away, you know, to one of our players on one of the wings, and let them carry on with the transition. I'm like, you mate, you ain't.
Our manager loves him. Like in a game like today, I would have actually not. I think, you know, Thomas Partey gets just picked all the time. I don't like that style of management. He's not been great, right? So why not give Maitland-Niles a shot? Maybe it's too stark of a contrast for Arteta. He can't trust Maitland-Niles with Sambi yet, right? I understand that that's a bit of a step too far for Mikel Arteta, because he's definitely a manager that, as much as he's project youth, he still needs some of the senior players to be able to balance that. But the two of them together, where we've seen Partey enhance Xhaka last season, James, this season, Xhaka's come back from an injury. He hasn't played since September 25th. Partey's not been great. Sambi's been benched, I think, unfairly for the last 3 games. He shouldn't be picked over what we're trying to do moving forward as a club, is
100%.
my opinion on that.
100%. And, I don't want to revert back because I've only said it about 10 minutes ago, but you can't play. Him and Ben White cannot play together at all.
Yeah.
It's just too slow.
I like that, and I agree with Arsenio. He loves that he puts in a shift and he tries, knowing the fans and everyone's against him. And I completely agree with that. But there's no agenda here. Rancid, you can ask anyone on this show. I've defended Xhaka for eons. I've been behind him. But if we're looking to move forward and we're looking to evolve our club, I just think that we need to just start thinking, okay, you know what? Let's give Sambi the chance, and maybe Maitland-Niles, and Xhaka is going to be there as, a backup, be there, that's someone that we can kind of fall back on. I do fear that if Aubameyang is stripped of the captaincy, it will be Lacazette, and I think Lacazette will start more than Aubameyang going forward. And I can actually see Aubameyang maybe being shifted in January. He's going to be away at AFCON as well, though, James. But there's something about him, and I've seen it. This is why I keep telling people, when I spent time with the team here in LA, I could see why Unai Emery made him captain. I can see why Arsene Wenger made him captain. And I can see why Mikel Arteta made him captain. In a time where we had a lot of immaturity and self-centered players, and I saw a lot of that with the Mustafis and Kolasinac and Ozils of the world here, Xhaka came across as a proper man and a proper leader. But unfortunately, Xhaka has also made glaring big arse mistakes in games that have mattered. And those things are what we all remember versus maybe some of the good things that he's done for the club.
But we're trying to get our team, the manager's trying to get our team to be more on the front foot and more progressive. That isn't that guy. There are times where players just outgrow the club that they're in, whether it be with talent or that you've been here too long. Come on, it's not working now. And sadly, that guy works in that category. If he was to go if he would have signed for Roma and gone to Jose, I bet you he'd slap up Serie A, because they'd give him the time to do what he wants to do on the ball.
100%. That's a great point.
He hasn't got it here. And, if you're going to, like we've said, if we're going to go with this Project Youth, then fully go into it with Lokonga or Niles or another, because that is more progressive.
Well, I think we all agree that we need to invest even more in our midfield. I don't think that's, and also, the other thing too is, I feel like there is part of the club that wants to, if we're going to move on from the Wenger Unai team, if that means it's Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Xhaka has to be part of that movement. He really does have to be part of that movement, because in order for us to move forward and build our new DNA and culture, we have to empower the players that have come in and not revert back to type because of fear. And I think that's what Arteta does, because he's the senior player that he trusts the most, James, unfortunately. Because the inconsistency of Thomas Partey, the petulance of our captain. But we're going to get to that.
I can see people in the comments again saying, he's an easy target. It's a agenda and everything else. I'm literally going off. No,
you're talking about football.
Well, I saw what I saw today, and he was awful. Now, if he played well, I would come on here and say he played well. I'd do it. I'd do it, because I'm not bothered about if it upsets people or not. I say it as I see it. And
James,
today he was terrible.
Can you answer this for me? You know, in the second half where we were playing with so much more speed, like it was like, wow, who bought the Lamborghini out and parked the Fiat at halftime? How much of that was going through him? Because it's different when you're watching it on TV, of course, and when you're there, you can see much more movement. That's not on camera, you know, if you don't have a tactical camera and stuff like that. But how much of that, to me, it was the flanks that were moving.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what, Sophie, you're going to go to him in a minute, and I'll speak about it when you go to him in a minute. Oh, okay. Well, you've jumped one.
Wait, who do you want? Tell me who you want.
You've missed a certain man from Norway before we.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Sorry. Right. Go on.
Right off the bat, 9 man of the match for me. This guy, if you watch him in the flesh, is everywhere. Not only is he at the top, he's also coming back. And okay, against Man United, he gave a penalty away. So maybe you don't really want him too far back. But this guy today was absolutely sensational. It was a joy to go and watch him play today. He was just beautiful, exquisite to watch. And there were times in that second half where he sort of dropped back as if he was in the centre of the midfield to tie it all up, because he's like, you two are too slow. You're too slow. I'll get in there and I'll make something happen. There was one in the second half where he laid like a little wavy, mazy ball across the middle, and you're just like, and the back heel in the first half as well.
Oh my God, that was sweet.
He's still raw, but he's got 3 from 3, and he's near that where he's going to blow up. And when that blow up happens, I'm telling you. And also as well, we're surrounding him with the runners. I know a lot of people, when Ozil was there, was going, you haven't got this, that, and the other. When you play him with Martinelli and you play him with Saka, they know if he gets it, he's going to find me. He's going to give and go and everything else. Yeah, he honestly, but I didn't know that he worked so hard defensively as well. He was top. I love that after we win, we can come on here and everybody, loads of people in the chat, they've all got different man of the matches.
Mm-hmm.
Which shows you how good it is that we've got all these different players that, when we do win, that they do the bits. But that guy today was just different gravy, as the phrase would be.
Different. Yeah. I like that. A lot of people are also saying to me in the chat, by the way, to me, he's one of those players. So when Kev was covering him in La Liga, he watched the season when he was on loan at Real Sociedad, and he's like, Soph, this player, he's mustard, and Kev thought that he was one of the better players in La Liga that season, James. And I think that sometimes if he hadn't come on loan last season and things hadn't transpired the way they were, and he was a fresh signing this season, I think fans would look at it a little bit differently. And I'm going to be honest, I would look at it a little bit differently, but I've definitely always been behind Odegaard. Kev's been behind him. You've been behind him. He's a quality player. But like you just said, for me, I've always said that he's the type of player like Ozil in his day when he was at his height. He's so smart. He thinks ahead of everybody else. And if you're not on his wavelength, it's not going to work. But look what happens when a Martinelli's playing with him. Look what happens when he's got more speed up front. Even Lacazette, being able to hold up the ball, bring other players in. I just think that he's the type of player that is going to, like you said, he's going to mature in this team. And once fans can actually see what he does, they want him to do it against Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea.
Yeah, and I agree.
But we're not that team yet. He can't do it on his own, James.
Yeah.
Can he?
No, and you know what you mentioned there, the man that should have been named old Ozil. Ozil, and when he first come in, I was ecstatic. I mean, I've still got a signed picture of Ozil over here in the room. He never worked as hard as this, though. This guy works hard, really, really hard. I mean, there were. From the stats and stuff that I've seen Like I said to you, I didn't get my, I normally like to give a lot more stats than I have done. I would love to see distance covered today.
We'll do that next week when
that guy, for me, he must have done maybe a half or maybe a full marathon today, because he is just everywhere. And people go, you want your players to be a nuisance, but he has the quality on top of being a nuisance as well. Guendouzi used to be a nuisance. When there's chaos, bring Guendouzi on. He loves it. Look at that Aston Villa game when he come on. But with Guendouzi, you didn't always get that little extra bit of quality on top. And that's what Odegaard's got.
And there's no doubt, you guys, and agree with a lot of the comments. Everyone's saying he's the fastest player we have between the ears. I don't know who made that comment, but kudos to you.
That's a great comment.
Yeah, I put it up, and that was a brilliant comment. And there's no doubt that he's going to have to do that against better teams. And I think, though, we're going to see that evolution, hopefully. But a player like him is only good as what is around him to bounce off what he's doing. And let's hope that he continues to grow. Right. This is me trying to get this done in half hour, James, as per usual. No way. So let's bounce to this guy.
Yeah. Oh, I felt so sorry that he didn't get a goal today. He deserved one. He deserved one. I know. Again, what a great player this guy is. And it really makes you wonder, is Smith Rowe going to come back on Wednesday? Because that guy's been player of the season. However, I would feel it's unfair to drop this guy that got a number. He got a number on the board today. He got the corner. And I thought all the corners were pretty good from him today. We normally moan that we're not.
We've scored a lot of set piece defender, right?
Yeah, we've scored a lot from corners this season. So that guy that we brought in's done his job, and these players are doing their job with them as well. But yeah, he's so good. He's another one. He's so good to watch live.
He's so fun, isn't he? He's fun.
He's so exciting. He's so
fearless.
Exciting.
He's fearless.
Yeah. But do you know what? There was something that I saw. And again, if there were people at the game and if they saw it as well, it'd be interesting, right? He's very, very good in the air. Josh made this point. But when we're defending set pieces, he's in our box. And I believe that's just in case it gets to the second phase of play where it goes back up in the air again and he can nod it out. But I'm telling you, when Ramsdale in that first half put him through, you want Martinelli out of our box for a set piece as an out ball, because Ramsdale makes unlike Leno, who wanted to punch all the time. Ramsdale makes claims and brings it in. He can go whoosh with a throw or whatever. Get Martinelli out the box as the out ball and just have him ton it at people, because he'll smash them to bits. I'm telling you, he will absolutely smash them to bits.
And James, as Marscana said, and we haven't had this for me since Alexis Sanchez, a bums off seat player. Yeah. When he gets the ball, that, Saka's a different kind of bum off seat player. You root for him in a different way. Martinelli has that X factor in a different way to me than Saka. And I just feel like if he's fit right now, he starts. He really does.
Yeah.
But you're so right about that. Really, really, really cool.
I didn't know if anybody else noticed.
You're getting a lot of credit. You're getting a lot of credit for that one, because it's really important. Yeah. That's not the first time you've noticed that, right? With him, is that?
It was the first today. Melvin, who I went with, shout out to Melvin. I know he watches and that sometimes. He sorted me out today. So cheers, Melvin. He was mentioning it to me. And then I was just like, I haven't really paid much attention to it. But then in the second half, when they had their corner, I'm like, oh, Melvin, you're spot on it. Because I'm like, he'd be away. Because Walker-Peters and Livramento, like I said, they were going quite near to where the box is. And I'm like, he'd do them. He'd do every... And I really hope...
James, can I ask you this? Because I love your tactical mind and your brain. Does Emile Smith-Rowe slow us down too?
No.
Okay.
Because we've seen it with the game against Spurs, where he had that give and go.
Okay.
I think Martinelli is more of a he will come in and take you on and do you that way. But he can do, whereas Smith Rowe for me is a give and go player, you know, and then when he's on his bike, you know, he's good. No. I don't think Smith Rowe slows us down to the extent.
Does he slow down our? He doesn't slow himself down when we're on the break, but does he slow down our passing? Because there's two different schools of thought here, or no?
Yeah,
you know, I
can see what people are saying, but I don't think it's to the extent that it's overly detrimental.
Yeah. And maybe I'm seeing it again because Smith Rowe's had Oba in front of him. He again not moving quickly enough. You know, Oba definitely has run channels and run into the spaces. But
we played one of our best games today, and who wasn't in there? You know.
Yeah. Well, look, what a great headache to have with all these players. Okay, we move to. I had to put this picture up.
Oh, it's great. Oh, it's great.
Listen, there's 700 of you in live chat right now. If you love Saka and this puppy and this whole retro gear, and look, we're not getting overly excited this Southampton. We're going to encapsulate this all at the end, by the way. We got 3 points today. We're just talking about, again, I wanted to reiterate what's in front of us. Go on, James.
Yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting to give numbers, don't I? Martinelli got an 8. Saka's an 8 as well.
I'll give them an 8 as well, definitely. Yeah. And I'll give Odegaard an 8 as well. So go on.
Yeah. So who was your man of the match, Sophie? Because I said that Odegaard
for me, it's Odegaard for sure. Yeah. A close second was Martinelli.
Yeah. No, he was, you know, he was class as well.
I wish he'd scored. He needs to score more goals, James.
Yes, but do you know what, Sophie? The last couple of games, apart from the Newcastle one where he did, you know, get his goal, I've seen him in the box and I wouldn't say like, you know, his arse fell out, but he wasn't as confident as I know he is. And his one today, he didn't even look up at the goal. Maybe if he did, he might have scored it. Now I'm being harsh. but his head's down, but he knew where that corner. And I'm like, that's just, people go, oh, can you learn that? Or are you born with that? I'm like, that's the kids. That's just the kid's brain. That's the kid's brain.
I do think that there's times where he needs to distribute the ball a bit quicker. He needs to make better decisions in the final third, and I would like to see him finish. He even had a chance at the end to make it 4-0, and it went wide. So I think that's part of his game, James, that he needs to work on. But my goodness, he's definitely a generational talent. We're lucky that we have him, and you know he is a baller. Ian Frater, you're 100% right, and he's in our hearts. He is, but that doesn't mean he's immune to criticism either.
Craig Barlow in the chat's made a great comment there. If you
any relation to Gary? Let's see. What's he saying? Oh, Craig, Saka doesn't score enough for me. Agree with you, Sophie, but he does pull players out of position.
Yes. And for us, that's exactly what you need to be doing. Like I said earlier about these overloads. This manager is obsessed with wanting to create these overloads, Sophie. And when they come off like they come off today, we're all smiling and happy. And he's 100% right. When you pull someone out so someone else can come in, that's Arteta's screensaver, those goals like that.
I mean, it was nice. Listen, I almost felt like, I felt kind of guilty for having fun watching us in the second half. I'm like, should I be enjoying this? It's Southampton.
Yes, you should, because it's
really
been
terrible.
The last couple of games have been so bad. If I don't want to get overly carried away. I know I don't. But if you can't enjoy watching your team win 3-0 in the pissing down rain, what can you enjoy anymore?
Okay, then I'll take it. I'll take it from you. Okay, we're going to get to this guy next. And the reason I'm using this picture is because his teammates love him. And I'm telling you right now, if there's a leader on the pitch and off the pitch that the players respect and love, it is Lacazette. And I was so happy, James, to see him get a goal today. And I thought that he missed a couple of really good chances as well, but just to see him get back on the score sheet was so important. For me, Laka gets a solid 7.5 today. I think that in a time where our captain is having a meltdown, this guy can come in and do the job. And why, I know a lot of fans think he doesn't score enough goals, but part of our problem has been not getting enough goals from midfield, you know? And today we actually got another goal from Ødegaard. You know, we got a goal from Gabby, a header from a corner, a defensive player. And of course, Lacazette scored as well. What's your take on Lacazette? What did you see when you were there today?
Yeah, he should have had a hat trick as well and an assist as well, because there was one in the first half where he went through and he could have slid Saka in, and it was a tap in. It was a tap in. It's weird because you don't know what's going to happen with the captain. Me personally, I think this could be the end for the guy. Am I jumping the gun here or anything? Or I
don't know. Is it true that did someone say, can you guys verify for me in chat, everyone? There's 700 of you. Is it true that Mikel Arteta said in his presser that Oba will be back for Southampton? Can we verify that? I'll have a look too while you're giving your take on Lacazette, and I'm putting everyone's marks up, James.
Yeah. So if the captain is going to be out, then Lacazette for me is who you get to lead the line, just purely for what you said, in that the young players will love him. If he's scoring goals, why drop him? Because our strikers haven't been scoring goals for the last couple of weeks. But again, like I mentioned earlier, you've got to get him in the box. You don't have him, you know, there was a few times today where he did drop deep, and someone else has put it in there as well. He had a stinker against Everton, but he was great today. So if he can keep going, keep the consistency, I'm more than happy. I mean, if he was more clinical, he probably would have his new contract already. And I don't know if he's going to sign one or not. And I don't want to say, would I like him to sign one or not? Because I still think deep down, the striker that we want for our system isn't Lacazette. But I'll tell you what, I was happy that he did manage to get 90 minutes today, because he's not normally done that. He normally gets taken off, and they were toward the end. You were like, oh God, you're lagging a bit, aren't you, mate? You are struggling.
Yeah.
But,
well, you know, James, Chris Wheatley tweeted, Arteta nods when asked if Aubameyang's absence was for one game and whether he'll be back for West Ham. So make of that what you want, Arsenal fans.
He'd still be on the bench for me. Because the others have done that. The others have done you said earlier, do your job. You know, one of my favorite films ever, Sexy Beast, Ben Kingsley, do the job. You know, where he's arguing with Ray Winston.
Exactly. And also the other thing is, you know, Ornstein reported that he was given permission to travel and he came back late, not when he was supposed to. And that also breaks.
Well, that's not a shock. The guy doesn't have clocks.
No. Well, also
he's got all the chains, but he doesn't have the watch.
This happened at Dortmund as well. You know, I think we're going to move on from both of these players eventually. Yes, for now I would. Listen, we're going to need Laka during AFCON. Yeah. You know, there's no doubt about that.
If we're not going to sign, you know, I think you have to sign a striker, but it's not
going to happen in January, because without European football, we're not going to get the striker that we want. So yes, you also have a fan of Sexy Beast as well.
It's a great film. If you haven't seen it, it's a great film.
Not all wine gets better with age, Soph. I know. And look, we've seen this film before with Aubameyang at Dortmund. When he gets disengaged and he's not particularly happy, these things do happen. Right. We're going to speed things up just a little bit here. Bang goes my half-hour show. Every time I said to Tony, I'm going to be half hour. She's like, yeah, you're going to be half hour.
Sorry, Tony, I've rambled on as well. If you're listening, sorry, Tony.
Let's just real quick in a nutshell. It's not good. I've been calling for him to be stripped of the captaincy since the North London Derby debacle. There's one thing turning up late, but then when you also refuse to do the warm down, and then, you know, your tattoo artist posts this when, you know, you didn't turn up for training when you should have. The problem for me, James, is leadership really is important. We have a young team. Forget Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli, even Ben White and Tommy Asu and these new players who have come in. You know, I said that they're on a different level of maturity, and I like seeing that. Ramsdale. Now, we may have naivety in games, but I do believe that the crop of new players we've brought in are mature, or more mature than some others. I've really appreciated Aubameyang and what he's done for our club. That run for the FA Cup under Emery, he was superb, but he's just not a leader. And maybe that's something that, you know, Arteta should have identified. But also what worries me a little bit too is Arteta's ability to manage, especially more senior players, and even the likes of difficult players like a Guendouzi. You know, I think he's more, I'm going to cut you off versus I'm going to nurture what the issue is, put my arm around you and let's fix it and let's try and work it. But as captain, 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes, I'm sorry. This is Arsenal Football Club, and we'll all still be here when they're all gone.
Yeah.
That's
it's so
that's my take on it.
No, it's so reminiscent of how he left Dortmund. You know, they were towards the end, whilst he was at Dortmund, he wasn't going to training or playing their games, but he was playing Power League, you know, like indoor Power League football. They're like, he's rocking up in his Lambo to this, and they're all like, what is going on? And they were so grateful that we paid to set. They were so glad to finally get rid of him.
Yeah. Name blocked. I haven't defended Xhaka in a really long time. And I don't have an agenda against Aubameyang. When you're captain of Arsenal Football Club, you do not turn up late for the North London derby. You do not refuse a warm down from the manager, regardless of whether you like him or not, or you get along or not. He's the boss. And I'm no Arteta fan. So please stop with my Aubameyang agenda. He has not played well. He's not done well. He's contributed very little. He's become a better backtracker defender than he is a striker. And maybe we don't play to his strengths all the time. But I'm sorry, look at these other players that have come in and been able to produce and score goals. Martinelli scored a goal in 97 seconds with his second touch. Vinny agrees with me. Okay, enough about him. We'll talk more about him next week when a lot of this comes to light. But there's no agenda here. We're here to support every single Arsenal player. But if you can't come back on time from when your boss has told you, then I'm sorry, you're the problem.
Yeah,
you really are the problem,
especially when you got previous. Like if it's a one-off,
fine, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Right, yeah, you can go, all right. You broke the disciplinary whatever it is process, whatever word they used, I can't remember. And you know you're sitting this game out, but don't ever do that again. But like you said, how many is it going to be? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't like it. I don't. I just don't like it. And you know, I've laid into the manager. That's out there. People know, but I can see people laying into the manager for giving him that contract. That week that he got that contract, you would have never have seen this kind of decline.
No, not at all.
You'd have
not
never.
At all.
So you can. I'm sorry. I will not have Arteta laid into for giving him the contract.
Exactly.
Yes,
Richard,
he has done. But yeah.
Yeah, it's not a PR disaster to strip him of the armband. Seriously?
No.
The PR disaster is that as captain of Arsenal Football Club, you should act like it and act like a professional. That's the difference. And you know what? Maybe Arteta should have kept it in-house a little bit more like Wenger. But at the same time, he's asked a direct question. Football's changed. There's more transparency now. Younger managers don't hide shit. They just tell it like it is.
Sophie, it would have got out in this day and age, you know.
Right.
I mean, like you said, the guy put a picture on Instagram of him giving him a tattoo, so it was out anyway.
What's the manager to do? Exactly.
Yeah, you can't go, oh, he's still ill.
Exactly.
He's so ill he can get a tattoo though. Okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Okay. And then people will have started speculating about malaria and COVID and all of these kinds of things. All right, we're going to get you out on this one, James. The manager, the gaffer. What is the mark for him today?
7. The team done their job. They done what they needed to do. But again, like we said, let's not get carried away. Let's get back to consistency and see what we can save. You know, like I said before, is it salvageable? Yes, it is. Will we do it? I don't know. That's why he's paid the big bucks to sit in the chair and I sit in this room. That's it.
Yeah, he gets the 7. It was important that Kev and I had a bit of a thing the other day on the show because I said at some point you've got to put in a performance. And he's like, no, it's just about the 3 points. And, you know, today we got both.
Yeah.
20 minutes of pure ugliness in the first half, but the team overcame that. And, you know, we didn't do the subs today, but I just didn't feel like the subs. I thought the subs all came on and did a pretty decent job. Rob Holding came on and showed us how fabulous his hair is, by the way.
When Nicolas Pepe come on, right, I'm trying to remember. I think my granddad died in 2006. If my granddad opened the door now and walked in, I'd be like, "Whoa, what the hell are you?" That was my reaction when I saw Pepe put the shirt. I went, "Bloody hell, what are you doing here?" You know.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I wouldn't even call it shop window, but
yeah,
I guess
it shocked me. I couldn't believe
maybe
it.
he was just trying to piss off Aubameyang by playing Pepe, one of his pals.
I was convinced. I was like, this is going to be Eddie Nketiah that's going to come on for Lacazette. But then when Pepe
a lot of people asking, and Soph, I know you're asking, why did Laka give? I think it's tenure at Arsenal. Laka gave Holding the armband. He's the play that's been there the longest, but they're going to have to figure that out, and let's hope that they do that too. Remember, we've got players that want to play.
You could have given it a Xhaka, so you have to give it to
Yeah. Listen, you guys, at the end of the day, we got 3 points. It's Southampton. They're definitely one of the worst teams we've played this season. But what's important is to keep picking up points against these kinds of teams, especially when we struggle against the bigger teams. No one here is saying that we're going to, qualify for top 4 or become world beaters. We did our job today and we did it professionally, albeit an ugly first 20 minutes. And that's all we can go on, right? So no one's getting super excited here. No one's saying that the world's going to turn and Arteta is the greatest manager in the land. No.
Sorry. Yeah, Yo-Yo's got it right. Yeah, Xhaka went off for Lokonga, didn't he, I think? So that's why he didn't do it. Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? There's a lot going on. So, and listen, there's 700 of you in live chat. Please do hit that like button on the way out, especially if you love the fact that we got 3 points today. At the end of the day, it's night. And when we wake up tomorrow morning, we've got 3 points, and Man United were lucky against Norwich, in my opinion, to get that penalty and to go above us. But it was so important that we won today because you know what? The biggest test is going to be against West Ham. Now, that's going to be an interesting post-game show. Let's see what we do against them, who are having quite the season in all competitions, doing really well under David Moyes. But, James, they've faltered a little bit of late. Of late, I say that loosely, in their last game.
You've gone. You've muted yourself, or you've knocked your wire out. You better get it back. I'm not good on my own. I can't save a show on my own. Oh no!
I'm back.
Hey, come on.
We're going to close the show.
I'm not Super Kev. I can't do stuff on the fly. I'm not that talented.
Thank you to everyone who has joined us. Go enjoy your Saturday evening. And let's hope that at some point when these results happen, that we can build on them when we play a better team next. That's the key for us, isn't it, James? It's being able to say, okay, it's all well and good beating Norwich and Burnley, getting a point against Brighton, but when you lose the way we did to Manchester United, when we lose the way we did to Everton, and then we beat Southampton, who were also missing players today. And let's be honest, their goalkeeper, Caballero, bless him and his 40 years, but he looked like he'd been sitting on the couch eating Cheetos for the last couple of weeks.
I don't blame him. I love Cheetos, especially the fiery hot ones.
Yeah, exactly. So we move on. We've got great shows lined up for you next week. Thanks to Super Kev for taking time out of his day as well, busy reporting on other matches to send us the video. James is epic. We love him too. You'll see more of him in the coming weeks. Probably a little bit of a tactical squad show before the West Ham game as well. In the meantime, be safe, everybody. And let's enjoy the fact that we got a really well-earned 3 points in the rain at the Emirates. James, do you have anything else you want to add before we go?
Just the same as you, everybody. Look, we've had a rough time. We've had a good time today. If you've got, if you've got an Alexa or whatever kind of Bluetooth speaker you use, Diana Ross, Love Hangover, chuck it on. Have a good night. Just enjoy yourselves.
And
other songs are available, but that's the one I want to. When you win like this, I don't want a cure for this. I don't want it.
Put those shades on, James. Where are those shades? When you do that, you got to put those shades on. Go on.
I'll probably be better off doing the, like Bez from Happy Mondays, that one, isn't it? I look a bit like a B-Tech Gallagher brother with these.
Oh my goodness, absolutely brilliant stuff. And you can find James at LL Cool James 90.
Thank you, 91. That was
one.
What a year! What a great year! You're on.
Vintage year. I was only 5. All right, everyone. We salute you. At ease. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.